Hello, everyone, and how are you? It's this wonderful fall, rainy, or sunny day. For me, it's pouring buckets outside, and my luck is I will have to post this if my power goes out at a different time than what I'm planning to. But with that funness all over and done with, today I'm going to talk about one thing that I've been meaning to talk about for a while: familiars. And if you're new to Wicca, new to witchcraft, new to paganism, some may not know what a familiar is. Some may know, and thanks to TV and popular culture, most people know. A familiar is an animal or another companion who is closely tied to you. It doesn't need to necessarily be a physical animal. It can be a spirit animal. It can be anything. Some people call some familiars their spirit animals. And in the saying, it can be like, oh, well, I see a spirit animal with you, that's this. What a familiar acts upon is actually either physically being there or being there within a means. Or that's how I believe it to be. A spirit animal is something that follows you within spirit. A familiar can be representative in many ways. A living creature, like I said, or a statuette or something, because not every state or every country allows you to own a wolf or a fox. Even though some states do allow you to have pet foxes with certain permits, unfortunately, I do not live in a state that allows that. I wish I did, because foxes are cute, and I would love a pet fox, and they're just really, really hyper little dogs sometimes, it looks like. Or that's what Facebook makes them look out to me. As you see here, I'm holding two statuettes of two that I consider a version of my familiars and spirit animals. So technically for me, these two serve a dual purpose. Because I can't technically own a wolf. It helps for my familiar side, because I do like wolves, and I do feel a very kinship and atonement to these creatures. And sometimes you can own a dog that you can see the spirit of a wolf in, which is perfectly fine too. I sadly don't own a dog, so like I said, he actually stands on the male side of my altar, which is right here by Loki. You may have seen it a few times. This little guy over here, Snow Fox. Obviously, I said I can't own an actual fox in this state. But it represents for me not only another one of my fun spirit guides of animals, but also of a lot of inner help. A lot of the times when I meditate myself, I have a white fox bounding around me, or it feels like it. So he actually stays, well, she stays over on my feminine side, which I have yet to get the statue of Bridget, but I will eventually. It's called getting a budget. And after everything that happened, that's going to take a little while. Like I said, there's other forms. I mean, for us, we also have a bunch of these little guys hanging around the house, which this one's an Irish wolfhound. We have statuettes of little wolves. We have statuettes of huskies and stuff like that, because we really do like the spirit of the canine and the wolf type animals, but we just unfortunately cannot have one in this apartment. And I'm pretty sure another little familiar would be upset about having to share her space with a dog. And that same note, we don't even know how she'll react to having a dog around. So, as I said, a statuette can represent a familiar to you if you cannot have an animal on your presence, which is understandable because some people are allergic. Or some people live in an apartment or living with friends who do not want animals. That is completely 100% understandable. Statuettes help with that, and so do drawings and feelings and other things that make you feel like you're linked to it. I even have a wolf fang necklace, well, claw, that a friend got me because we couldn't have an animal in our apartment, and he felt that it was needed. But I will introduce you to two more familiars who are actually physical beings. Hi, I'm back. This was what you guys have seen a few times. This is our cat and Soren's familiar, Persephone. She is a long-haired domestic house cat. And she's made a few appearances on here or around here. It has made life a lot better in the house because not only does he serve as the comforting familiar and aid in magic and mischief, lots of it, mostly aimed towards our feet when we're walking. She has also served as a comfort animal, which has helped remove a lot of stress. And we've had her for about a year now, and we adopted her from an organization called Furry Friends, more like she adopted us. The thing about animals and familiars, sometimes you don't pick them, they pick you. She picked Soren. Soren walked into the bedroom to check their water and their food, and she was hiding from everyone else. She jumped down from the cupboard onto Soren's shoulder, and she started to love all over her, and she did not want her to leave. She actually started crying while doing her meow and desperate please stay when we had to go. That day, Soren came to me and said, I'm saving up the 80. She's coming home with us. Her name in the shelter was Honey. She's still our little honey boo, but she goes by Persephone now in response to that a lot more. I can say, oh, Persephone, and she'll come bounding out to me. She does love treats. She loves catnip. It's hilarious to see her on catnip. I will one day take a video of her just rolling around on it. She lives for her hairball treats. She lives for cuddles. I've woken up some mornings with her laying partially almost on my face. I have gone to bed with her cuddled on my pillow. I've gone to bed with her cuddled on me. Gone to bed with her cuddled on Soren. She is the epitome of love and devotion, and that's why I honestly think if you're going to get a cat sometimes, you should go to the rescue areas first, because you meet some of the most loving animals that want nothing but love and attention, like her. She is the sweetest thing ever, and we would never give her up for anything. She has, anytime I try to meditate, I normally find her on my lap. She waits for us to come home from work. She knows our schedules. She knows when we go somewhere. She will sit by the door and wait for us to come home. She knows when we go to work, she will sit there and watch us leave. And when we come back, she'll be sitting there waiting for us, all happy to greet us. And all she ever wants in return is loves, pets, and kitty treats. Her kitty food and treats are actually right next to me, so she normally will jump in and out of my frames when I'm trying to do videos, so some of my major edits are because of her. But she is a very loving cat. She turned 4 last December. She'll be turning 5 this year. And if I move my arm, apparently it gets bit. I think she's had enough, but at the same time, she doesn't want to let go. You can see that she has her paws locked around my wrist. She is a good kitty and a very good familiar and de-stressor. And she loves to antagonize my familiar, which we refer to as her brother. And before you ask, no, she does not go outside. Because not only because of the stigma of her being a black cat, but also because the stigma is she's so loving that we don't want to lose her. She does love it whenever we have our friend Brograve over. She will jump off of the couch and onto his shoulder at any distance that she thinks is necessary. This cat can jump. And I'm going to set her down because she seems to be getting annoyed. But she's a loving creature, and I would suggest if anyone can and if they want to, I would look into getting a cat. Either you can get them as kittens from pet stores or friends or adoption centers. We went the adoption route because, well, we volunteer at Furry Friends and we know every animal deserves a forever home, and we're her forever home. And she chose us. Like I said, we didn't go, oh, we wanted that cat. No, she said, I want these humans. And next, I'll show you my familiar, who I had talked about for a brief second, of who she likes to antagonize, and he antagonizes her back. I'm back. Oh, of course I am. This is Cosmosis. He is my familiar. He's about 2. We got him one of the first times when we moved into this apartment. Soren's mother. Oh, yay! I have to do some editing. This is Cosmosis. He is about 2, like I said, and we got him when we moved in here. Soren's mom actually encouraged us to get a rabbit, and I'm glad she did. He is my baby. We actually got him at a pet store, and he is shedding like no tomorrow. And when we got him, he was just not even a year old. He was only a couple months old. And we were originally going to get the long lion head rabbit that they had, which was gray. I asked to hold him because he was the only small little dwarf short hair that they had, and I held him, and I did not want to put him down. I looked up at Soren, and I almost started crying. I said, we need to take him home. He needs to come home with us. And he is male, and he can be a handful, like was just seen. He does like to hop around. He does like to cause a nuisance. He does like to be himself. He's a sweetheart. And he's my baby, my familiar, and my cuddle buddy. Sometimes, when I'm playing video games, he'll just sit happily on my lap. Other times, he will ignore the daylights out of me and hop down and hop around the house and antagonize Persephone, and she will antagonize him back. But we have seen these two work together. She has systematically helped him out of his cage at least 4 times by jumping on the top and collapsing it in so he can hop down it. Well, up it. Isn't that right? As he tries to ignore the fact that I just called him out on his bunny ways. He is nothing but the sweetest thing you'll ever come to know. And he's going to need another bath here soon. He does love playing in the water. He does love being up high. Sometimes he enjoys the cuddles. Other times he's, don't touch me. No, he's never bit anyone. No, he has never intentionally hurt anyone. And no, we've never intentionally let any harm come to him. He does, like you saw, like to jump off of things. He is very sheddy because his winter coat's coming in, so it's pushing off his summer coat. With familiars like rabbits, sometimes it's hard to do rituals with them. He does have a harness and a leash. Yes, he does use them. He is terrified of grass. He prefers his wood chips or his hay, or the carpet of the living room. Anytime we actually have him out because of how he is, he never goes to the bathroom on the ground. He will hold it until he's put back in his cage. He does not chew on any wires or cables. He does like carrots, but in moderation. He actually prefers celery. He is a rather kind and sweet creature, and I would never give him up, even if he does occasionally have his bad moments, and so do I. He's also someone that brings me more comfort and joy than anything else. Believe it or not, most apartment complexes will allow you to have a pet rabbit like him because he's considered a cage animal, because he does have a cage. Even if you don't keep it in a cage, He's considered a cage animal like a gerbil or a hamster or a goldfish. So he does not count as anything that needs a animal lease. But that's just with our apartments. If you wanted to get a rabbit like him or another, you may have to look into it more. Because he's also under a certain weight. He's under, I think it was 20 pounds, so that he is one of those liable animals not to have to be on the lease. And he's not of canine or feline labeling because he's obviously a rabbit. To care for ones like this is a little bit different because you have to at least trim their claws, and his are solid black, so it's a little tricky. He does like to chew on his cage and his little wooden chew toys. He does like to play games with his twine balls because we always put little treats in there for him. He eats yogurt treats. He hates all the other treats. He is spoiled. He gets a special blend of food, and it's normally the Fiesta blend because he likes the bigger chunks. He enjoys fresh fruits and veggies as well. He likes tomatoes. He likes strawberries. And yes, it's kind of hilarious. He likes bananas. He adores romaine lettuce. He is very fickle, though, when it comes to cucumbers and carrots. They have to be baby carrots, or he will not eat it. With the cucumbers, it has to have skin on it. If it does not have the skin on it, he will not eat it because he eats the skin first. He likes avocado, but we give him that in very small allowances, and it does help his fur. It helps it grow in smoother. They shed a lot, so be prepared to have a lot of the sticky shed rollers, or be prepared to be sitting here for hours brushing them. He does like to be brushed, but not overly brushed. His ears are very sensitive, and obviously he's alert. He does like to be scratched right in between them. That is one of his honey spots. Another one is right by his nose. He's very sensitive about things touching his face. He does not quite like being brushed right there, but when he had his little breakout, he got used to the brush there. He also got used to having weekly baths, and he still gets weekly baths. But he will be going to the vet soon to be checking a problem, and this is something that I've noticed with any domestic rabbit. He ended up getting a polyp on his eye. It has gone away, but it has left a small film on the corner of his eye that makes it where he may be going blind or developing cataracts because of it. So we have to take him in so the vet can do some more checking to make sure that he'll be 100% okay. Like any animal, they need love, care, and attention. And he loves everything, and some days he wants to just be alone. Today he's actually enjoying being held because his little paw is clamped around my finger. He does have some big monstrous teeth. He has never bit anyone with those said teeth. He is very gentle, and despite it, he is very fragile, even if he doesn't act it. So I've seen this rabbit actually tear off one of his own claws while playing and not even flinch or make a noise. When people ask me, what do you do for flea drops for this certain familiar, I tell them he gets 2 drops of a kitten flea drop because of his weight and size. And even then, we normally just give him a flea dip. We give him a flea bath, which he prefers more. Don't you, baby? Rabbits are very interesting familiars because they do give out a calmingness. They do give out a gentle side to what you need to do in some practices. Like I said, a familiar can be any animal that you deem connects with you. He connected with me right away as the first day as I held him. Sorry, my mic is messed up. And he's been my baby since. Cosmosis is My little sweetheart. I also refer to him as Cause. Familiars are a powerful thing and something that I would suggest people look into. Like I said, you don't have to have the physical familiar with you. It helps. Yes, it does. But you can also have a statuette of them. It does hurt when you lose a familiar or they pass away. I'm not going to lie, I'll probably be devastated when I lose him or Persephone. They become part of your family. You shouldn't just see them as another pet. They're another extension of you and your spirituality. Remember, not every pet you own is your familiar, but it can be. You can have more than one. For me, I have him, so it has Persephone, but sometimes they work for both of us. But a familiar can be the most important part of a ritual, or it can be the nonchalant part. It depends on what it is. You don't even have to be pagan to have a familiar. It's whatever animal resonates with your soul. And for me, a trickster, apparently I deserve a bunny. So, with that, because he's also getting to the point of being annoyed, I will be ending this and working on fixing a few things that he kind of screwed up on my keyboard. But I encourage people to look into familiars and animals and adoptions, if not rescues. Oh, my mic. Cosmosis, you are being bad. Bad bunny. So I employ people to look into shelters, adoptions, and maybe even volunteering if you can't physically have one with you. With this, I say blessed be and have a great day, and let's hope these storms pass, and let's hope you don't make any more messes.